I almost started doing the dev stream with my mic off. That would have been bad. Let's get all of the Twitter stuff sent out, get everything joined up, and we should be almost good. Almost. Just got a couple more things. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is June 5th, and this is the June 5th TextQuest Dev Stream. So, today we are going to be covering and experimenting with TextMesh Pro Vertex animations. So, last Thursday, I kind of started messing with this system, but I wasn't really able to make any great headway on it because the actual system itself is a little weird to work with. After working with it some amount, it actually isn't as bad as I initially thought. It's mostly awkward. In fact, currently, I'm like 90% sure that I will be fine with all the interactions that we have. I'm really only concerned about situations in which I have submeshes, because I haven't actually tested that yet. But that's a whole other thing, and we'll get into that if we have to. But suffice it to say that Vertex animation in TextMesh Pro is cool, but weird. So I'm going to show you what some of the things that we can easily do now are. So to start, we can easily position things. So this will just run a quick little script that basically has our letters moving up as so. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy there. We also have rotation. That's not it. Rotation. So we can rotate all of our letters or individual letters. I haven't quite gotten whole words working yet, but I do have it functional to some degree. So this is rotation, and it's also, I guess, worth mentioning that there are two different types of moving for vertex animations. There is what I call relative movement, and then absolute movement. Absolute movement would be things based off of the original orientation and positioning of the character, whereas relative movements are based on their existing rotation. So, for example, when I uncheck relative here and I rotate 2 degrees, that's not a huge noticeable difference. So I'm going to actually set this to be, we'll say 90, and we'll set it over the course of 3 seconds. So now those letters should reach their 90-degree rotation from their initial starting position over the course of about 3 seconds. Except they don't. Well, that's interesting. Oh, wait. Hold on. That might be because I recently changed the script, actually. Well, that's a little embarrassing now, isn't it? Oh, that makes sense, actually, because they don't randomize their rotation positions anymore. So that won't actually do anything unless I turn on relative because of my debug script. But in any case, think of it like this. Relative rotation can basically rotate forever, whereas absolute rotation will rotate until it gets to where you tell it to rotate to, essentially. And then, of course, we have scale. And it's actually possible to do all 3 at the same time. I do have a method for that. So we can do positioning, rotation, and scaling for the individual characters, however we see fit. Oh, great. I need to turn on relative, because otherwise it's not really going to do anything. Aha! So it's an interesting system, and today we're going to actually try to implement it in a way that is useful and interesting. So 3 seconds makes it a little choppy. And I will say that it is kind of not to the level that I would like in certain cases. So for example, the scaling there kind of looks awkward, but when we reduce the duration to 1 second, it's actually a lot more palatable. So I'm not entirely sure if that's because of how matrix values are calculated. See, at like 1 second duration, that actually doesn't look too bad. But in any case, we're going to be using this vertex animation system to try and come up with some nice text effects that we can get our combat labels to have. Because I would like, it would be nice if each enemy had a, I don't want to say gimmick, but a specific methodology to its labels. So, for example, one of the ones that I really want to do now after messing with this stuff is like there's just an enemy that when you fight them, their characters are rotating all the time, like this. Oh, it's going to be really, really fast. I should probably turn that back down. Okay. So something like that. Because it's not a huge difference from the normal label, right? But the addition of rotating characters that you have to type kind of makes it more challenging. And it's a nice little subtle way of making each fight feel a little different. Now, probably what we'll do is we won't have every label do this in the fight. It would probably be just the final labels that show up at the end when you're doing your last multi-attack combo. And of course, that is going to mean that we have to balance things a little bit differently. So combos aren't going to be based on the weapon you're carrying necessarily. Well, not just that. Now it's going to have to factor in the enemy and their effect as well, because this attack this rotation is going to slow down your typing speed a little bit. Now, if you're really, really good at typing, then you might be fine. You might be able to just kind of like go through it and not worry about it. But if you're already kind of bad at typing, or you're not the best at typing, like let's say there's a 10-year-old who's not that great at typing and is trying to get through combat, then I can't make it too hard. So it's one of those, like all decisions I tend to make design-wise, it's a fine line between catering to people that are very, very skilled at typing and catering to people that are just don't even know what a keyboard is. So that's kind of the state of where things are. We have the ability to position, rotate, and scale text arbitrarily. We can do pretty much whatever we want with it. And at this point, it's about us actually building those features out. So to do that, we're going to jump. Let's see. I want to go to my combat test scene. Where are you? Scenes. Here we are. So we're going to go to out of combat test because we can't actually do anything with it yet. Actually, you know what? No, we're probably going to want to go to in combat test now that I think about it. Okay. And if we look at what on earth? Oh, those are all the virtual cameras. I was like, what is up with all these gizmos? So if we take a look at our timelines, and we go to, we'll go ahead and open this up. Let's go to phase 1 because phase 1 has the first often section. We will have our prefab right there. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to have the labels have like a scriptable object on them, similar to what we do for hazard behaviors. We have this list of scriptable objects that do stuff. It probably would make sense, I feel, for us to have a list of just combat behaviors, which would be things that can modify the text. And that can be things that are a simple thing like rotating text. It could be something like scrambling text or flipping them upside down. There's a lot of things that I want to do there, and they're all pretty minor actually. They're just things that would be fun for us to do. So I'm going to 1 go down to here, and 2 I'm actually going to, let's see, we're going to change. I probably should rename these as hazard behaviors. Or should I? You know what? Actually, I might just be able to make them regular label behaviors. That would work pretty well, actually. So I can just keep building on this system. Yeah, because they take a delta time, stop behavior, clean up behavior. Yeah, that all makes sense. Okay, well, then let's just use that existing system. And let's go ahead. We're going to create a folder, and I'm just going to call this letter rotation. Okay. Let's go ahead and create C# script, and I'll call this letter rotation behavior. Okay. Open this up. Oh no. Why did I do that? Okay, good. Whew. I was really worried I was going to unload all of my project and then reload it all, and that would have taken like 2 minutes. Okay, so we're going to make this one combat requests.combat and 2 derive from combat label action. Was that it? Attack label behavior. There we go. Let's see. We need tick, so override tick. Get rid of you. Oops. Get rid of you. And then override, I think it's stop behavior, right? Yep. Aha. Cool. So this is actually going to be somewhat interesting. We're going to go ahead and say override start behavior. And we will call base.start behavior because I believe that is actually doing something. Hello, Garrett. Welcome back. Are you managing to stay cool? I gave in and turned on my AC because I'm tired of doing my dev streams and it being 90 degrees in my house. So I turn on my AC now whenever I stream, just because having a headset on really makes hotter temperatures quite unbearable. Uh, Now, has it really just started, or are you just now feeling the effects of the giant fire that's raging to the north and to the east, and presumably also somewhat to the south? So pretty much everywhere that's not water around you. Uh, Geez, 113. I don't think it's. That's one of the nice things about being in Indiana is that we rarely get triple digit temperatures. Um, I think this week it's getting into the 90s, uh, like low 90s, but I think today it's supposed to get a lot cooler tonight because we have a thunderstorm that was supposed to come through and it rained for like 2 minutes and then stopped. But who knows? 80 to 85 is nice. It's a little warm for me, but I tend to prefer 70 degrees. But also, I'm Midwest, slightly north, so kind of makes sense. Not in the high desert like Vegas. I guess that's true. And part of the nice thing about living on the coastal cities in California is that the bay wind will help cool everything off. Usually. Okay. So let me peek this. Make sure that this all does things. Okay. Good. 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 That is correct. So for our start behavior, we're gonna have to do some interesting associations. So for oh man, this is gonna get super weird. I'm gonna assume a flat structure for now, and this is one of the things that I'm a little worried about is that I currently don't really handle Text Mesh Pro submeshes very well with vertex animations. Like I haven't really tested it. I think I've coded it in so that it'll work, but it makes it a little awkward for us to get everything set up. Um, So probably. Oh, geez. I also wonder if that. Oh, that really won't work. Ooh. Well, let's try it anyway. Let's see if we can get away with it. Um, yeah, in LA proper, you get the marine fog and cooling effect. I'm north of that on the other side of the mountain range, so we don't get that. Ooh. Yeah, that's. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But on the bright side, I guess that means that you have usually warmer temperatures in the cooler months. So, yay. Not like you really need that in California anyway. Um, okay, so for every label that we add to a rotation behavior, we need to have individual float values for each of the letters that it contains. Because those will be the values. Wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of scaling. Never mind. I actually don't need to worry about anything here. We just want to have a, let's see, system, oh, not system, serialized field, and this is going to be private. Uh, I'm going to make it a vector 3. I could get away with just a float, honestly, but I kind of want to be able to rotate if I so choose in the X, Y, or Z axis. For the most part, it's probably just going to be the Z axis, but it would be pretty cool if if I can open it up for all rotations. So we're going to say rotation is going to be equal to let's see, new vector 3, 0f, 0f, and 2f. I think is a good speed for rotation values. And let's see, is that really all I'm going to need? I think that might be all I'm going to need. Yeah, so essentially all I'm really going to need here is a list of Text Mesh Pro text info. So we're going to say using, oh, I actually don't need using TM Pro, but I do need to say using system.collections.generic so I can get lists going. So we're going to have a list of, what is it called? It's my own class, but I don't remember it. TMP vertex info. TMP underscore vertex info. Vertex info is equal to new TMP vertex info. So this will keep track of our labels And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to associate the labels with their TMP vertex info. So we're going to want to say vertex. Yeah, that's probably fine. I'm going to say vertex info dot add new vertex info based off of our label dot label. So this is a convenience class that I've put together to handle TextMesh Pro vertex animations. It basically gives me access to a bunch of convenience functions that let me move, rotate, scale things pretty easily. It also gives me, and this is the most important thing in my opinion, the ability to just do this. Like that. That is one of the nicest convenience functions I wrote, because actually updating the mesh on TextMesh Pro is kind of weird. It's like 2 lines of code, but you're basically setting all of the vertices on the target mesh, and then you're also calling force update on the label, which is weird. Okay, and having that one convenience function just takes all that away, makes it much easier for me to do. Stop behavior, I don't really have anything that I need to do, so I suppose what I would do there is, do I actually have a bool that says if it's active or not? I don't, but maybe that could be a thing. For now, I'll just keep it in here because I think that's fine. So we'll go ahead and say private bool is active is equal to false. And all we're going to do is in start behavior, we're going to say is active is equal to true. And on stop behavior, we will say, hold on, is that right? I guess that's true. I thought I had one that passed in a label besides start, but I guess it makes sense that I wouldn't need that. So let's go ahead and we're just going to say is active is equal to false here on stop behavior. And in addition to that, I'm going to go ahead and say in tick if is active. Well, you know what? No, that doesn't really make sense because tick is only going to be called if it is active, so that's just a whole bunch of stuff I don't need to worry about, really. I don't actually even have anything I think I need for stop behavior, so all we're really going to do is just this. For int I equals 0, I is less than, we'll be able to say labels.count, and then I plus plus, and for this, we're simply going to, I guess I should make this vertex info because honestly, all of my stuff is going to be done on that, not the labels. So with each vertex info, we're going to say vertex info dot set of I dot nothing because I need to now do a for loop. Oh boy, yeah, that's a thing. I might actually go ahead and I'm going to pull this over. I think I'm going to add a convenience getter for my length. Let's go ahead and I want to say it should probably go above here, probably about here. I'll say public int length, and we'll just return label cache label dot text dot length. Pretty straightforward there. And then we're just going to say for int j equals 0, j is less than vertex info of I dot length, and j plus plus. Cool. And finally, we're just going to go ahead and say vertex info of I dot set char rotation based on j, and then we will give it a rotation of rotation followed by relative, which will be true because we want it to continuously rotate. And that's really all we need to do. So let's go ahead and, do I want to set this based off of time.delta time? Yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll just pass in times delta time. That's probably good, which probably actually means that I want this to be 360F by default, and that should work. Okay. So let's see if that works. I say, oh wait, no, that won't do anything right now because of course not, and because I need to do this. I need to create my asset menu attribute here. File name is equal to blah, and then menu name is equal to blah as well. So we'll say SOS slash text quest slash combat, and then letter rotation. Okay, file name is going to be letter rotation. What do I call the other things? Okay, just behavior. That's fair. Get rid of the extra spaces because I don't like them. Alright, then we'll let that compile. So how long is the heat wave out on the west coast supposed to last? Is this like a couple of days thing, or is this a strap in for 2 weeks of heat thing? Hopefully it's not the latter, because that would suck. But okay, so we're going to come up to here. I'm going to right-click, create, SOS, text quest, combat. Oh, I should probably put it in attack behaviors. Okay, we'll put that as letter rotation behavior. Pretty straightforward. And now I'm just going to put that on my label because I want to see... Oh, right, I need to actually do that. So let's come up to here. Okay, we're going to say serialize field, private, combat, attack, oops, label behavior, letter behaviors, it's a new 0. Let's go ahead and give this a tooltip. Behaviors to apply to the label when it is not a hazard. Okay, and let's see, where are hazard behaviors? I'm pretty much going to want to do the same thing that hazard behaviors do, just not if it's hazardous. That's probably something that I should look at then. Final references. I'm guessing this is getting called from. Let's see. Okay. So I'm probably going to actually change this hazard function up a little bit. Let's go to this definition. We're going to pass in a bool. Is hazard hour is hazardous. Why can't I say hazardous? Should only be 3 days, then cool down to the mid-90s. Oh, well, that's not as bad, but still pretty challenging. We're gonna set is hazardous. Oh, dang it. Okay, so I'm gonna make this just an H. Is hazardous is equal to hazardous, and in addition to that, I'm going to say if hazardous, then we're going to do this, else we're going to do this. So we are also going to go ahead and, ooh, that's a good question. We'll do that. I actually don't anticipate a situation in which it is hazardous, but there are no hazardous behaviors. So this should be fine. That's still hot, but at least you won't die going outside. No, that's true. Do you have air conditioning, or are you reliant on fan power? I typically tend to turn my AC off just because I'm super cheap as a person, and I don't like wasting money. So if I turn it on when I Devstream, obviously, because I need to be somewhat comfortable. Otherwise, I would start to get irritable on the Devstream, and that's probably never a good thing. But usually I keep it off, and I just use a fan, because that's far more economical. Okay, so if we're not hazardous, then we actually want to start a non-hazard coroutine. So I probably should actually see what hazard coroutine is doing and basically just duplicate that, but with not hazard behaviors. Um, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And we're going to say, paste this in, and we're just going to say letter behavior coroutine. I am terrible at names. Okay, so this is going to be letter behaviors, start behaviors, this, and oh dear God, this is a thing, and I am basically going to just say while is attacking. Ugh. Do I have anything I can use to reference this? Because that would be pretty cool. If I don't, it's gonna suck. Oof. Okay. I might just make this while true and then manually force all of my stuff to stop. Ugh, I hate doing that though. I can't do that. It's gotta be. That's gross. Okay. Yeah, I see you grew up here without it though. Jeez. You lived in the swimming pool all summer long. Yeah, I remember going to the pool a lot when I was a kid, just because we also didn't really have AC back then. Um, yeah, naming things is by far the hardest thing for me because I always get stuck up on names. Okay, so first up, I want this to be water behavior. But I can't make this while true because I do need the behaviors to clean up, which means that this can't be the case, which means that I unfortunately need to go up to here. Oh god, this script is getting way too big. There's too much going on in this. Find all references. Where do I set you to false? Presumably on cleanup attack. Okay. I guess let's go ahead and add a is active. Protected bool is active is equal to false. I really hope I don't have another is active. I'm going to say is active is equal to false. And let's see. Probably fade out coroutine is active is equal to false. Okay. So I have all the falses that I need, but I don't have the active. Okay. So this should work, but I don't have the actual thing setting it to be active, which is probably because it needs to be done on start attack. Right here. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to say is active is equal to true. Okay. I think that is correct. Okay, let's go ahead and change this up. So we're basically going to duplicate this whole thing. Except this is going to be for letter behaviors. Change this to letter behavior coroutine because I'm so good at naming things. And then we need to just get where set hazard is getting referenced. And all we're going to do here is move this to here and move this to here. Ta-da! Okay, so that should now let us actually have letter behaviors on any combat attack label that we want, and if they have them, they'll use them. If they don't, then they don't care. So let's assign that letter rotation behavior and see if that works out. It's going to be super nice if it actually works just right out of the box. I'll be amazed if that's the case, though. Okay, so let's go ahead and here we are. So we're going to add in letter rotation behavior. Oh, and you know what? While I'm at it, before I forget, I really should have done this before. But but what was the creation that I needed? So create SOS text quest combat attack behaviors. Okay, so we're going to need to do that, and while that's happening, I'm going to really quickly try to change scenes to the out of combat test. Okay, so we should be good to go and test this this mechanic out. So what should happen is essentially when we load into this fight, all of the labels, all of the attack labels will be spinning, which I'm sure will not get disorienting at all over time. I doubt I'll get it, but it would be pretty horrific if I ended up getting some sort of weird like spiral sickness from this. Just by having to constantly focus on a rotating target long enough. You'd be surprised what can happen to you if you have to do it enough times. I'm also going to maximize on play. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're in a battle. Okay, so that did not happen, and we got an index out of range exception. Where did that come from? Oh dear. Oh dear. That is... yeah, that's the thing. Crap. Okay. I might have to change this. Oh, I really don't want to do it this way. Oh, I really, really don't want to do it this way because it's a coroutine and therefore it's going to be a nightmare for me to get right. Okay. So we're gonna have to do this. Oh, that really sucks. Okay, yep. Gotta do this. Private enumerator. Wait, actually, hold on. Time out. Maybe I don't. Maybe I can just do this. Label.force mesh update. Can I get away with that? I really hope I can. I'm really concerned that I might have to wait one frame so that it can buffer properly and then set all of its values, which is annoying because that would mean I'd have to have a coroutine, but it's in a scriptable object, which would mean I would have to pass that to the coroutine manager, and I mean, it's actually not that difficult. I just think it's kind of sloppy. So let's find out if that's the case. Finally got TextMesh Pro working in world space, picking up lighting and shadows. Nice! What are you using it for in world space? I was going to say talk. Kick. Why not? Okay, so let's go into battle. Oh, that's so disappointing. Yep. Alright, well, that means we gotta do the fun stuff, which is... Oh. It's this. Oh, it's this. Oh, oh no. Why? Okay. Oh yes, and I probably need to pass that, don't I? Okay, come back up here, and we're gonna have to say using system, not syntax tree, collections. Okay, and with that, I think we'll be able to work, which means that we essentially need to do this. Oh, right. Okay, hold on. Come up here and say using sleepyowl.common. And for that, we're going to say routine. Okay, fine. You're going to be that. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. GameManager.get. What the frig? I should have a coroutine manager. Do I not? Am I crazy? I'm like 90% sure that I'm not. Huh. Well, that doesn't seem right. I know that I've done stuff with this. Okay, let's see if I have it already below my game manager object, because I totally have a class for this. Maybe I called it something other than coroutine manager? I don't know what I would have called it. If I don't have this in my scripts, I'm baffled because I'm pretty sure that I've run tests with it in TextQuest before. Mm. Buildable signs. Okay, that makes sense. Are you going for like the same thing that was it Minecraft did, where you would write your customized message and then that would show up on the actual sign? You could read it. Also, apologies for comparing your game to Minecraft because I know how much of a pet peeve that can be. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear this. Let's see. Resources, game manager, console camera manager. Nothing? Really? I don't believe you. Hold on. Sleepy Owl Soft, common. Should have. Oh, of course, I don't have a singleton. Okay, well, where is Game Manager? Okay. Really, though? There's no coroutine manager? I don't believe that. There has to be. Audio, cabin, canyon, car entity, car geo, car manager, blah, blah, blah. Cancel, sheet, collection case, cancel, control maps, game manager, file manager, like, not even an enumerator manager or something like that. I have one of these things. I swear I have. Okay. The worst part is that I can't just look for start coroutine. I was gonna do that, but oh wait, no, I think it's like start coroutine instance. I could probably find that. Okay. Let's go ahead and close this. We're gonna actually go back here, and we're gonna do a thing that I very rarely do in TextQuest. We're gonna look through my entire project. So I'm gonna say start coroutine instance. I'm like 90% sure that this is something that I have written. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Really? Am I just that crazy? Did I think that I wrote it here and I wrote it at work instead? No, I'm like 90% sure I wrote it here, tested it in TextQuest, and then I brought it into work. Well, this is really annoying. What about start instance coroutine? Please don't make me rewrite an entire class. Oh my god. Really? Great. Well, thanks, past Chris. I thought I could rely on you, but clearly I can't. So, fine. Create folder. Singletons. Create C# script. Coroutine manager. So coroutine manager, surprisingly enough, is going to be a check source control. I would, except collaborate sucks at that. Yeah, it really does suck trying to do anything with collaborate. It's so weird. If the thing is, like, if I had made it in TextQuest, it would be called coroutine manager. That is what I would have named it, because that's what I named it at work, apparently. So I guess I'm just going to rewrite what I did there. This is actually not that hard of a class to do. It's basically all this does is it runs coroutines for things that can't run coroutines themselves. It's pretty simple in that regard. So for this, we're just going to go ahead and say public void start coroutine instance. This will take a enumerate. Okay. Using system.collections. Using enumerator. Coroutine. Except I can't even type apparently. Okay, and for that we are going to simply come down here. We're going to say private enumerator. What do I want it to be called? Internal coroutine. Oh, right. And, oh, geez. Do I want to have a callback? No, I don't think I need that. Actually, you know what? I don't even think I need this. I think the basics thing, or the most trivial thing I can do is just do this. Start coroutine, coroutine. And I think that will actually work. But there are problems with that. I do need to probably keep track of it. So we're going to say, come up here, using system.collections.generic. Come up to here, say private list coroutine, coroutines, new list coroutine. Okay. Then all we're going to do is say coroutines add, and it's basically going to be this. Okay. And then we'll go down here and say public void. Oh, you know what? That actually should be structured like this. I'm just going to call this routine. That. Then we'll add the routine, and we will return actually a coroutine. That way it's a little easier to control, and then we'll say public void stop coroutine. I can't spell apparently. That will take a coroutine, and all we'll do there is, oh right, that's gonna have to be stop coroutine instance, or instance. Well, that's pretty cool though. So are your signs just going to let you customize text and font size, or are you going to let them do stuff like rich text and all that? Get creative with their fonts. Okay, so what we're going to do here is say if coroutines dot contains coroutine. I guess I could probably just say coroutines dot remove that. Remove coroutine. Okay. And then all we're going to do is say stop coroutine. Okay. And let's see, is there anything else I would want to do there? No. So I'd probably want to go ahead and do, oh, not public, or not private. Public void stop all coroutines, which I think is actually an overload function. So stop all coroutine instances. And all we're going to do there is just basically for int I equals 0, I is less than coroutines dot count I plus plus. If coroutines of I does not equal null, making sure that they do actually exist, then we're just going to say stop coroutine. I guess I could actually straight up call stop all coroutines, couldn't I? Yeah, that would make more sense. So let's just do that. Stop all coroutines, and then we'll just say coroutines.clear. Pretty simple and straightforward. No reason to individually stop them. Okay, so that should work. Let's go ahead and let's go to letter rotator behavior. So I'm going to have to do this. Game manager.get coroutine manager dot start coroutine instance, and this will be our info delay followed by label. Okay. So that should let us delay for one frame, then force our mesh to update, and then grab our vertex information. Right now it's just font size and it's poopy open sans, still a prototype. But it finally works with TAA without flickering all over the place. Yeah, I still haven't found a good anti-aliasing solution that I like, because TAA makes things too soft in my opinion. So it just doesn't work with my aesthetic, which is a shame. Okay, so that is pretty much what I would expect. So let's go ahead and let that compile, and then I'm going to have to actually add uh, a coroutine manager to our game manager here, probably. Of course, there are inconsistent line endings, because why would there ever not be? Yeah, agreed. TAA soft. It's funny because when I remember back when Unreal first did their temporal anti-aliasing, like it didn't look soft. It looked sharp. Well, not like harsh or jagged, but just it looked clear. So it was weird. It was weird seeing that. Let's go ahead and clear this. We are going to now. I guess we can go ahead and just add this. Actually, you know what? It's probably fine, right? I kind of wonder. Go to definition here. I wonder if I should try to add a function to this where basically I say if it doesn't exist below you, then just make an instance of it, because sometimes that would be nice actually. So probably I'll do that and give it a test here, because that would be kind of a kick-ass thing to have. And all we're going to do here is say if target instance is equal to null, then we're going to say I have to make a new game object and put it underneath this. Instance dot transform dot add child, and let's give it a name that we will call underscore plus t dot name. Can I get away with that? I feel like I can. I can't. Dang it. Okay. I could probably do this type of t and then say dot name. That would probably work. All right. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Do that. We'll have to make that a transform child is equal to that. And then we're going to have to say target instance is... Actually, you know what? I can just do that, can't I? It's equal to that. Dot add component. Oh, dang it. You've got to be kidding me. Hold on. Game object. Oh, do I not have a string name? I do. Okay, good. And then we're going to say dot add component. And it will be T. Can I get away with that? I can. Ha-ha! Cool. So let's just do that. I'm curious to see if that'll work the way I expect. I got a super sampling asset off the store. It works, but the performance, ouch. Yeah, super sampling is honestly the only one that I think works, but it's also the best one, which means that it, requires all of the graphics cards in the world to make it, not run like crap. I think 2018 is getting the new anti-aliasing SMAA. What's SM? Not super sampling. Is it? I don't remember what it is. For deferred, yeah, that's one of the nice things that Unreal does that Unity doesn't, which is MSAA in deferred rendering. So you can just get anti-aliasing in deferred, whereas in Unity it has to be a post effect. So it would be nice to have some sort of deferred anti-aliasing option out of the box. But my performance is not as great as you would think. I get 60 frames at 720p on my laptop, which is not really that satisfying for me. I would like to get 60 at 1080 on my laptop. Now, granted that I was going to say 10 for some reason. Granted, my laptop is a MacBook, but it's still that doesn't really excuse poor performance. So I at some point I really need to go through and just squeeze blood from a stone and get all the performance I can. Okay, and it's still not doing anything. But I am curious if at least our game manager worked. Oh, look, it did. That's nice. So we're getting kind of screwed there. Well, I wonder why we can't get array indexes out of range. Interesting. So this is what we were doing in our debug script. Essentially what we would do is we would start, we'd wait for one frame, force our label to update, and then I would set my vertex info. But clearly what's happening here is that's not working. We're trying to get the char vertices, presumably, from here, and that is just not working, which is weird. Presumably it's actually originating here. Okay, so I guess I'm going to try and do this. I mean, is it me? Am I crazy? No, I mean it's the index out of range is being done here. So let's go ahead and debug.log modified mesh info.length followed, or I guess led by base mesh info.length plus blah blah plus this. Because I really want to know if it's just not populating or if it's populating with nothing because it thinks that it has nothing. Because that would be very, very annoying. I could see it being a thing, though. It's basically just me needing more buffer time. You should be able to get super performance out of TextQuest. Just gonna take some work to clean it all up. Yeah, I mean the end goal for that is basically to be able to run on a toaster. But also, hello, Bo. I'm not crazy. You're the crazy ones, especially you. Oh, really? At least 420 degrees? Uh-huh. That just lights everything up, huh? A lot of smoke and fire there. At least. Okay, so let's go ahead and play through this again and see what we get out. If we get a useful value or if we get nothing. I'm going to be very sad if it's just another... I mean, it's definitely going to be another null ref or index exception because I haven't actually fixed it. I've just put in debugs. Okay. So there's our index range exception. 1 to 1. Okay, that's actually correct. Oh, pfft, I did this. Interesting. How many vertices do you think you have? So let's change this from base mesh info. That will say base mesh info 0 dot vertex count. Let's just do this. So that should give me a hand. If that vertex count is 0, then it's not initializing properly. Yeah, leather is the worst thing in warm temperatures. It's also kind of the worst thing occasionally in cold temperatures. So there's really not a great time or temperature range for leather furniture. It's always way more difficult to deal with than I find acceptable. Fair point. When it's pretty lukewarm temperatures, it's fine. But really, anything outside of that is terrible. In the winter, it's too cold, and in summer, it sticks to you. Hmm. I really do wonder if it's because it's not initializing correctly. That has to be the problem, but I don't. Yeah. Okay, so it's initializing with 0. It has no vertices as far as it's concerned, which is not great. So let's go ahead and maybe no. Hold on, time out. This works for let's get rid of some stuff that I don't need. So this works for our hazard behaviors, but it doesn't work for anything else. Why is that? We get a yield return null, and letter behavior coroutine is being called, which also has us already delay for a frame. So interesting. Okay, let's go up here. And now I'm actually pretty convinced that I don't need to do this part because I'm already waiting a frame anyway. So let's go ahead and simply say, grab this. Oh, and you know what also I should do? I should move this. So I'm going to move this out into combat attack label, and we're just going to put this here. We're going to do the same thing for our hazard coroutine so that they initialize properly. Okay, and let's go back over to here. We will get rid of this because it will no longer be necessary, and I will get rid of this, and I will get rid of this, and I will paste this in here. So we need this to work, but it's not. And the question is why? So before we actually do anything with this, I'm going to go down to here, and I'm going to say debug.log label.textinfo. Crap, what is it? Mesh info, I think, of 0 dot vertex count. Let's see what that looks like. Fall. I like the winter with leather. It's cold. Do you know that all, well, I guess not dolphins, but almost all marine-based mammals still have vestigial legs? Because that's how mammals work. I'm pretty sure that dolphins don't, because I feel like they don't have hind flippers. I think that they just have the tail. Okay, so let's try this. But yeah, any of those hind flippers that you see on marine mammals, those are basically the remnants of legs, which is why they kind of look like feet when you look at their skeletons. Okay, so let's hit battle here. There's our index out of range exception. Interesting. Oh, so this is really curious. It thinks that it has a 56 vertex count. Interesting. That can't be right, actually. Hold on. 56. We have to divide that by 4. There's no way that's correct. It is impossible for this to only have to have, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Nope, that is correct. That is, so that's correct, but what the frig? Why is this one correct, but this one is not? Wrong thing. Peak definition, initialize label, reinitialized. That is all kinds of wrong. Huh. So this is basically calling the same thing, both text info, and then really? Well, let's put in a debug here then. So debug.log base label info. No, no, that's hold on. Dot mesh info of 0 dot vertex count. Okay, let's see if that works. Because it totally should. Oh no, they don't. Yeah, they don't have legs. That'd be terrifying. Um, thanks for stopping by, Bo. Try not to die on the couch. Oh god, reverse mermaid. Those are always the most terrifying things. I think there's something about legs on stuff that don't look like they should have them that makes them either really funny if it's done in a cartoony way or really uncanny for every other situation. I'm trying to think of all the times that I've seen that now. Let's try hitting again. Also, I apologize. I didn't expect to be roadblocked by weird vertex information not being set. Okay, you're really annoying me now because you clearly should work. That's so freaking weird. So it... What are you doing? Go to definition. So what should basically happen is we should copy our mesh information, but it doesn't seem to be giving me what I want. So let's assume that this is all null. That's all pretty much what I would expect. So this is the text mesh pro code, which I probably shouldn't show on the Devstream, but it's only a small chunk, so it should be fine. Basically what this does is it returns a copy of the vertex info, but it doesn't seem like it does that. This is our mesh info. Can I... Well, no, these are always correct. But I've not run into this before where it's fine for one thing and then the copy mesh info just fails. That's really weird to me. I really don't want to modify their code. So it's debug.log mcached mesh info. Okay. This is going to throw all kinds of havoc, I'm sure. But it's fine. I'll just control Z it after this. I just want to see if it thinks that it has 0 for some reason, which makes no sense because it has 56 vertices. And we can get that count, and it is accurate. Ugh. This is what happens when I try to save the fun stuff for the dev stream. I get roadblocked by something weird. Because my goal was basically to come in and figure out the actual integrations with the combat system, because I figured that would be a fun thing to do, but I didn't expect to get blocked like this. This is quite frustrating. Live development, though. What are you going to do? Okay. Let's go to the battle again. Index out of range exception. You what, mate? Did I debug it and not its length? Of course I did. Length. So it should, by all rights, this should be 1, at least. But... And I'm confident in that, so I'm going to say mcached mesh info of 0 dot vertex count. Yeah, we'll do that. try that one. Hmm. It would be really nice to finish this up next week, the whole combat stuff. I've kind of been sandbagging a little bit because it's not. I haven't quite figured out how to finish it. Like I think the path choice is fine. Like I'm probably about the system itself is probably about 80% finished. Like it's functional, but there are all kinds of little touches that I think it still needs. I really would like to get this combat system done though because it's been a while. It's been I think at least a month. I feel. So let's hit. Actually, I feel like the last month, honestly, has just been pretty slow development-wise, admittedly. Let's go ahead and stop. There you are. You are utterly incorrect, apparently. Interesting. So, hold on. So here's the really weird thing. So we debug mesh info, so base label info, because that's what we're copying from, dot mesh info of vertex count, and that comes out as 56. And then when we come to here, we get a length of 1 and a vertex count of 0. But that doesn't make sense because we're setting our length to be... I guess we don't set our vertex count. Let's see. Where is vertex count actually set? Oh, it's just a public thing. Okay. Well, that's okay. So I guess maybe this isn't the most accurate. Maybe I should say not vertex count, vertices dot length. Let's try that. Maybe that will give me a more accurate telling of it. Seems strange, but possible. Actually, this is exceptionally weird now that I think about it. Huh. Cache mesh info. Mesh info. Okay. That's probably 1. Mesh info of vertices. Okay. I guess let's try that. And just to be absolutely sure, we're going to be doing some weird stuff here. We're going to say plus, blah, blah, plus mesh info of, not I, of 0 dot vertices dot length. Okay, so let's see where all of this comes from and if we are getting anything even close to what we need to. I was really, really hoping that we would get to the letter scrambling today, but given my current pace, it's hubris. Honestly, it's like a Greek tragedy. Because I thought, well, this will be fine, and then of course it wasn't. Okay, so let's hit play. The hubris of it. Sorry, wait. Let me see if I can remember and quote it exactly. Oh, the hubris of it! Oh, no. No, that wasn't it. It was... Oh, fuck, what was it? I think it's like, oh, the folly! Oh, the hubris! Anyway, I'm trying to think of Dr. Venture's line from the first episode of the first season of Venture Brothers when he thinks he brought Brock back from the dead by making a shrine to him and drinking, I think it's tequila. Um, that was a good episode. Although it wasn't the first episode of Venture Brothers, technically that goes to the pilot, which is really hard to find. Actually, it's pretty easy to find on YouTube, but it's mostly disappointing that it's not part of the first season because it's got some pretty good scenes. Probably one of my favorite Brock scenes. Boom. Okay. That's correct. So the vertex count is actually the number of vertices for each letter plus 4 vertices on the end, which are just all zeroed out. I'm assuming that's for like a new line character or some weird character that just is reserved in Text Mesh Pro. So 60 is correct. But it's still not doing it. What the heck? So it has to be that it's just not detecting everything correctly. All right. Sorry, stretching in the middle of conversation. Well, welcome to the Devstream. How are you guys doing? Although I guess I shouldn't say that. I assume that this is actually just one of you guys, not all of you at once. I'm always mixed up whenever I see like Twitch accounts for companies because I never know if like all of them are watching. I assume most of them aren't. I assume it's just one person on the team. But either way, hello. Very well. Well, that's good. That's good. What brings you to my corner of the woods? My very dark and far away from the mainstream corner of the woods. Okay, so I'm gonna. This is really annoying. I guess I'm going to just have to step through here to see where it's failing, which is gross. I really did not want to do that. Let's try that then. Vertices is going to be length. Okay, so let's go ahead and say debug.log length here. That should give me a better idea of where I stand. Well, thank you for stopping by, Bobby. Is it just you? I thought you had other. I thought you had at least one other person. I could be wrong though. Either way, I don't know. Maybe you did. For some reason I thought you did. Either way, hello. You're just in time to see me constantly grumble about getting blocked by something that hasn't blocked me until literally just this stream. And now I'm trying to figure out why it's stopping me. Okay. That makes sense. How is Codemancer going, by the way? I know last time we talked, you were kind of shopping around for publishers. And I've done a very terrible job of keeping up with everyone's games. I'm a terrible developer friend. Okay, there's our 60. So we should be getting roughly the correct amount. It's just that we're not. So this is interesting. Interesting. Let's see. Let's go back to here. And God, this is really annoying. I guess we'll debug it here. We'll say debug.log base mesh info 0.vertices.length. Let's. Something weird must be going on here. It's going very well. No dice with publishers. That sucks. It's all good. There are too many games in development by friends to keep track of them all. That's true, but I should do a better job of trying to keep track of all that. Honestly, I typically only see things on Twitter, and that's very rarely. I need to do a better job of doing the social media stuff. I just need to do a better job in general. I'm really not up to my own standards when it comes to development. It's actually been pretty stressful for the last like 2 weeks. I've been feeling really kind of boxed in, just because I feel like I've been treading water a lot more than I should be. Let's go up to here. Say hit or hit. I think a lot of that has just been me kind of being too slow on making design decisions. You son of a. So it. How? How in the world does this even happen? It's 0 and it's 60 and then it's 0. It just. You are kidding me. Let's change this to vertices.length. Maybe the vertex number is just incorrect. So let's try that. Okay. Let's try it. Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what? That might be the case. Oh my god. It might have been. We'll see after this debug run, but I'm about 90% sure actually that this was an idiot mistake on my part. Of course. I really hope that it wasn't, but we'll see. Yeah, it's all about, keeping on trucking. I actually caught the stream by Zach Fierce, and he had Evan. Oh crap! Is it Evan Todd? Is that his last name? I'm not sure if you've met them. I feel like you have, but I could be wrong. They're, I believe, mostly Ohio devs, or at least that's where they come from originally. But they were talking about Evan recently stopped work on his game and moved out to, I believe, California, and he was talking about how he spent like 4 years working on it before he stopped. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm already past that. And it is admittedly starting to become a bit of a problem or a concern for me is how long I've spent on this, because I'm getting really antsy trying to like not being able to work on other stuff is kind of starting to almost strangle me in my sleep, somewhat. Like it's starting to get a little aggravating, which is not a good thing. Yes, there we are. So, yep, it was me. It was all me all along, me being silly. And by silly, I mean very, very stupid. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So what's happening here is probably my index is getting set incorrectly. So that probably means that it's this. Oh my goodness. Yep, that would be it. That would be it. Wait, time. Ah, yes. I see. Um, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to throw up. Well, I'm not going to throw up. I'm going to put a. Where are you? Here we are. We're going to debug our index here, because I believe what's happening is I'm passing in too high of an index. So if that index goes above, I believe 56. If it gets to 56, then we're doing something wrong. Let's see. What have I walked into? Well, cool. You just walked into a bunch of grumbles and annoyances. Although also epiphanies of me being stupid. So, Of course, nine times out of 10, when I go off on like an hour-long search to figure out why I can't do something, even though I've been doing it before, it's always because I did something stupid, and that's what happened. But welcome back, either way. It's been nearly 5 years for me too. Yeah, I think it's just that as a matter of policy, because when I first started working in games, actually, I spread myself out across a bunch of projects, and that made it impossible for me to actually bring any of them up to the level of quality that I wanted, or I would be able to do that for one of them at the exclusion of all others, basically. and that's not a good thing. So basically, once I started TextQuest, I said no more, just TextQuest for now, and that's kind of killing me. uh, Interesting. So, oh, that sucks. Okay, I know what the problem is. Spaces. Spaces don't count. Okay. Wow, that really sucks. Okay. That really sucks. Okay. Jeez, this is not great. Okay. So basically what's happening is it has vertex information for the characters but not the spaces, which makes sense, because why would you bother with the spaces? But that means that my length of the string is not a valid it's not a valid length, basically. So now I have to detect how many how many spaces I have. Oh, that's so good. I'm not at all angry about that. Okay, well, let's figure that out. Let's see. I agree. You always do something stupid. I do. I really do. Um, Luckily, I've shipped some other stuff in the meantime for day jobs and contracting. Yeah, and I mean, I have my day job as well, which lets me make stuff, but geez, not stuff I want to make. Um, and actually, because of the way that things have worked out project-wise at work, I am now the only person in our entire company that has not worked on what I would consider a game. Like I've shipped stuff that aren't games, like educational apps and things like that. And I've worked on plenty of those at work, but I'm the only person now at work that has not worked on a game project, and that is seriously driving my morale down at work. Um, uh, so yeah, I've started kind of doing my Saturday dev streams as like instead of working on Text Quest, I work on these little prototype games basically as a way for me to um, just kind of get a creative outlet almost. And it's just nice to have that little break and let me clear my head basically. Yeah, I am kind of raging. Okay, so let's go back to here, and here's where it gets annoying. I need to change this length. Go to definition. So we're gonna have to actually cache this, I feel. So we're gonna set this to be private int label length is equal to 0. We're gonna return label length is equal to 0, question mark. If so, we're gonna say label length is equal to 0, otherwise label length. Actually, I guess we'll probably say greater than that. We'll return label length that way. Let's see. Stop doing text quests and help me with my game. I can't stop. At this point, it's out of sheer spite. I'm like, no, I will finish this, and I will release it. Where do I work? I work at a small local indie educational games studio. It's not strictly educational games. We've done a couple of entertainment things in the past, but just because of how things typically fell during those projects' timelines, I was not able to work on them, which is sad. But it's half full Nelson. I don't think there's been a situation. I don't think you've met my boss, Bobby, because I don't think he's been up to Chicago at any of like the bit bashes or anything like that. The only place you could have conceivably run into him might have been at PopCon one year, but I don't think you did. So, because I don't think he went the years that you were there. Okay, so basically what we want to do is say label length is not equal to 0, but instead, this is gonna suck, is equal to label. Not label length. Sorry, it's gonna be cache label dot text dot length minus cache label dot text dot crap. Isn't there should be a function built into strings to get the number of a specific character, isn't there? Trim start, index of, insert contains, compared to, I guess not. Okay, well, let's add that. String extensions. Ends with any to delimited string. We'll just plop it here, I guess. Well, you know what? Now let's split. Get shared start. Capitalize. Here. We'll go to here. I did an educational game for my dissertation in Unity this year. It drained me so hard as it got boring incredibly quickly. See, the problem is like educational games in and of themselves can actually be pretty interesting. It's mostly client work that sucks. Because all of the educational clients that want to make games or want to have you make games for them, basically you try to make a game that's educational and they're like, wait, what is this? It's fun. And they tell you basically like take out gameplay and just plop in freaking paragraphs and that just people have no idea what they're talking about. Philistines, all of them. Love making edu games. My passion project is edu games. Yeah, and like I said, it can be fun to work on them. It's honestly just clients that suck. Hello, Cache Override. Welcome back. How are you doing tonight? Okay, so for this, we're going to go ahead and say public static int. Crap. What do I want to say? Like char count. This string value followed by char. Target char. Okay, and it's probably fine. Do I want to have a comparison? I probably do. So I probably want to say like char dot equals, and then can I do? I can't. Ooh, because I can do like string dot equals, and then I can pass in the whole string comparison type, but I guess I can't do that for, oh dear. That's gonna really kind of bring things down. It's fine for now. So let's just go ahead and say int count is equal to 0, return count, then we're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than value.length, I plus plus, we're just going to say if value of I is equal to target char. Then we're going to say count plus plus. Pretty simple. So let's just go ahead, go back to here, and we're going to say dot text dot char. Okay, it's because of this. Using sleepyowl.common. Back down here. Char count with the target char being space. Okay, so that should work. Let's try that. Let's see. I think my biggest problem is educational wise, it was very limited. It was like year 2 math, so it was a lot of repeatable math questions. Tried to make engaging, which was difficult. See, that's funny. I remember a game back in the 90s. I don't remember what it was called, but I remember you played as like this robot kid, and basically you flew to like mad scientist layers and you would solve math equations. And that was the mechanics of it. But it was legitimately interesting. It was like almost like crap. What is it, like the putt games or anything like that? They're just they were fun little kid games that were basically adventure games with an educational skin on top of them. Is it Math Blasters? That sounds right. It's been so long, honestly. I didn't even own the game. My friend did. And I remember playing it at his place like once or twice. Okay, so let's... Oop, wrong thing. There we go. I like to start client conversations with the fundamental theorem of edu games, which is that the main mechanic of the game must be the skill we are trying to teach. Everything else is chocolate-covered broccoli. That's fair. Hello, Sirdies. Oh, hold on. Sirdies-a-lot. Okay, I was going to misread that, but Sirdies-a-lot. Hello. Welcome to the Devstream. Let's see. After the After that, most clients are too embarrassed to suggest anything like flashcards. That is brilliant, Bobby. I should tell my boss to do that from now on whenever we negotiate with clients. Okay, so let's see. Still? What do you think? Great. Okay, timeout. Yeah, that's about right. So we're going to debug this crap. So let's debug.log. Pretty much it's going to be this. So it must be not grabbing the char that I'm expecting. Which is very annoying, which means that it's not stripping out spaces, which is... Okay, so let's let that compile. Did my feet in there, but took a different approach. Decided to try and make textbooks more interactive and less tedious. I feel like... actually, I guess if you could make teaching trigonometry fun, then that would probably be a $1 million app right there, no matter the age group. Okay. So let's go ahead and say hit. See what values it had. Actually, trigonometry in and of itself isn't too bad. Calculus is awful. But to be fair, calculus is less about writing math equations and more about writing sentences. Because somehow all of those letters just make a number. Or rather, they make the abstract representation of what a number function is. Calculus. Is that what I think it is? Okay. I am deeply confused. How on earth can this have a length of 55? That... Oh! Son of a no way. No. It's because of rich text. Okay. Yeah, I didn't anticipate that. Of course, rich text is a problem. Hold on. I paused it good. Let's see here. Oh, good. So first time actually selecting that. Okay. Yep, that's about right. There we go. So the problem is like the pretext. Ugh. All right, I might be able to get around that. Hold on. I think I can change this instead of saying cached label. Oh. No, I can't. Frickin' ridiculous. Okay. Let's see. Cached label, if I'm really lucky, it will have a method to get text without rich text. Let's see. Set text, text info. Volumetric text. Is text truncated? Get text, get parsed text. What is that? Yes, that's what I want, I think. So let's try that. So we're going to say all kinds of things are going wrong right now. So we're just going to do this. If label length is equal to 0, then we're going to do this. That means that this is just going to, well, before we do that, we'll go ahead and say string value is equal to this. Okay, and then I'm basically going to move this whole thing to here and get rid of all of this. I'm going to say label length is equal to cache, it's equal to value dot length minus let's try that. See if that works. Trig is basically just memorization. Yeah, it's entirely not exactly wrong. At times like this, Chris, you need a yarg. That frustration. I really should just have. If I had a way, I guess I could just detect really long and loud volumes, and after a certain threshold of time, my avatar will just like freak out and turn red or something. Um, uh, okay, so let's clear this stuff. Hit play. Try this out. I'm mostly just mad because this was supposed to be a quick and easy thing to do, and like all things that I think are quick and easy, it's not. Because why would it ever be? Um, hmm. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that it's. Come on, work with me here. Okay, so we didn't get an error, but it's also not spinning. Okay. So progress. We're no longer getting an issue, but we are getting other problems. Let's go over here to our letter rotation behavior. It is set to set char rotation. It is relative. I mean, is this happening? Actually, no, it definitely is. Jeez, is something else going wrong? Can you make that box fall on the troll to defeat it? So it won't defeat it all the way, but it will do massive damage. This is, by the way, Cache Override. I'm not sure if you've seen it. This is the new combat system that we're working on, and the new combat system is a lot more. It's a lot more interesting because there's a lot more strategic elements to it. So you can do stuff out of combat to affect things in combat, like positioning this crate. So for example, I'll show you what I mean. I'll walk over to the crate handle there, activate it, and then go into combat. And when I do that, the crate will be teetering over it, and you can actually cause it to fall on it. So I'll say hit. So now the crate's over him. If we attack the troll, we can see that the crate is above there. And if we go into battle, what you'll see is we now have an option for crate over there. And I'll just go ahead and show you it. So I can come over here and do the crate hit. And this is one of the things that's actually holding up combat right now is I gotta figure out how I want to handle sequential hits like this. And then, boop, does 2 damage. Probably will have, this is an example thing. I don't think I'm going to have a crate over the troll in the real combat situation, but I just wanted to show that you could do stuff in combat and out of combat to affect things out of combat and in combat, respectively. Okay, so still not rotating. We got 27,000 rotations, though. I'm sorry, 2,700. Which is... So it is getting called, and we are getting... What the frig are you? Are you my index value? Oh, no, you're that. Well, that's worthless. Come on, here we are. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. Okay. Well, that's nothing. And what about you? Interesting. Lots of extra debugs that I don't really remember doing. Okay, get rid of you as much as I can. Yeah, the goal with the new combat system is basically to make it a lot more expressive and deep for a very broad term. So now you choose paths through combat, and what you equip will change the patterns and affect combat in more serious ways than what currently works. That's just because the current combat system is pretty locked down. It's not uninteresting necessarily. It's just that it would be tedious to do that every fight because it doesn't really scale very well. So this new system will be a lot more open and allow for a lot more experimentation. Is it deep or is it broad? That's a good question. I guess. I mean, we're not talking about Devil May Cry here. Like, I'm not going to. I'm not going to have Well, technically, I have combos. I'm not going to have. Uh, I'm trying to think of something that it wouldn't technically have. There is a lot to it. I'm not going to lie. But it's not really spontaneous. It's more strategic, I guess, because you can set stuff up out of combat to affect things in combat. And if you're paying attention, there might actually be secret interactions that you can do by looking off into the background. There might be like a label in the background that you can type in, but it would be somewhat difficult to see it. So it's going to reward people that are observant. It's going to reward people that explore outside of combat. Okay, so it should be rotating, and my assumption there is that it's not. So that means that we're getting to here. Is our count messed up? Like, are we actually getting debug log? Let's just do that. And we'll say rotating plus J, I guess. That seems correct. Make sure that it actually is getting to that point. I'm going to be really kind of mad if it stops before that for loop, because they're not moving, which is weird to me. Is it oh, of course, it's probably because I did something stupid again, and I think our rotation is probably set to something really low. Let's see, where are you? It might be 360 actually. Okay. I'm going to take out delta time, and then I'm going to make it not 360. I'm going to make this like 2, because that's a value that I know works. We'll see if that looks nice. I'd call it broad. It's probably closer to broad than it is to deep, but it's not like broad as an ocean, deep as a puddle situation. It's more like broad as a lake and deep as a lagoon, I guess. So you could wade through this combat system, but you couldn't really deep dive through it. Okay. And part of that is because I'm not making an action game here. Although I do need combat to be rewarding and satisfactory. Okay, so let's go to hit. I swear we are going to get these vertex animations working before tonight is over. I will not stop until it happens. Oh my goodness. So it should be rotating, and there's 13, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What? What? Is it happening? I can't tell. So it's getting called. Well, now I'm legitimately baffled. So I probably, need to come up here and go to my TMP vortex. I probably actually don't need to subtract spaces anymore, because I'm willing to bet that it's just going to not include them, so I can probably do that. But the problem is that it doesn't seem to be rotating them, which is weird. I'm trying to think if there's a reason for that. Like, well, no, that wouldn't make sense. I really hope that it's not just rotating the freaking invisible characters at the beginning of it, because that would drive me nuts. Only satisfactory. Oh, I see. I see how it is. Calling me merely satisfactory. Well, fine. No free game code for you then. Ever. Okay, so let's go out of our way. Let's make this like 30. Worst case scenario, that ends up causing it to whip around. Best case scenario, it actually freaking rotates like it should. Be really miffed if it's just not doing it because of invisible text. Oh, that would suck so much. Could not be the case, though. I would really, really rather it not be the case. Okay. Let's go into battle again. Oh, hello. Interesting. How does that... Okay. 15 times 4, that'd be 60. That actually does make sense. But you've got to be kidding me. So I do have to subtract. But that doesn't make sense. So I have a vertex count of 60. There are 15 characters. Each character has 4. That is correct. Which distinctly means that this... I'm deeply confused. How on earth is this? Hold on. Let's play this again. I'm going to do some counting. After the headache I've had with my game today, it was satisfying watching other people struggle with something. Yeah. The most frustrating thing about this is, honestly, I spent like all of yesterday and part of today basically making sure that this exact situation wouldn't happen. And I stopped short of actually testing it because I wanted to test that on the Devstream and, actually show you guys from the ground up where I was starting. But nope. I should just stop doing that, apparently, because every time I do, it comes back to bite me. Okay. So we get our index range exception. Okay, so we have an index of 15, which admittedly should not be possible. It should stop at 14. Actually, hold on. Let's just count up. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, I lied. Apparently I do need the subtraction there. Let's go back up to here. I guess for some reason okay, whatever. I don't know what my thought process was. I must have just been enraged to a point where I saw red mist and thought it was a good idea. So that is that index out of range exception, but it still doesn't explain why we're getting no rotation on our characters. Worst case scenario, God, this would suck, is it just doesn't it just doesn't work because of other factors like maybe world space. Well, no, that doesn't make sense. I've tested this on this exact prefab. So we know that it works there. Which makes me wonder, is this something else that I'm doing, perhaps? Maybe I taste good? What? Okay, so again, no rotation, but it says we're rotating. Which... I'm just going to test this. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. No, okay. Interesting. Well, you can color me mad. I'm quite mad. I'm quite angry because it should be rotating as far as my scripts are concerned. Okay, let's see. So we'll set our rotation. Our rotation is relative, which means that it should be relative to our current rotation. It is rotating through it all. Oh, comes back and bites me. I see. Yeah. Well, the world definitely does seem to have a taste for munching on me whenever I get a big head. Um, my color does indeed equal mad. That is accurate. It's red. It's angry. It's vermilion rage. Which I guess vermilion is actually more of a orangish kind of. But okay, so infuriating. Let me see here. Go to definition. We get a quaternion out of our rotation. That's all fine. And relative does get passed in. We are grabbing our relative positionings, getting our original offset, getting our char vertices, and that all should work. But so it doesn't error out, which means that it is applying it. But then it makes me wonder if it's just not, if it's getting like reset. So I guess I'll do this. This is gonna suck. Okay. This is really bad. System.text.stringbuilder. Output is equal to new. For j is equal to 0. J is less than 4. J plus plus. Vector going all the way into debug mode. Verts is equal to vertex info of I dot get char vertices at index j based off of modified true. Okay, and we're just going to do output dot append verts of j dot to vector string plus space, and then we'll come down here. Why are you mad? Oh, because you need to be k. K, 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 K. And then we're going to debug .log output.toString. So debugging hard here. We're going to check every vertice. And we're going to actually have it start with, I guess we'll want to say j plus colon new line, so we can at least see that stuff. Actually, not. Just do that. No new line needed. I'm a little concerned that it might be TextMesh Pro forcing the mesh to update each frame, at which point it becomes exceedingly difficult for me to actually do what I need to do there. Because as long as I modify the mesh info and then update it myself, it's fine. But if it's being done or driven externally for some reason, that will not work, and it will basically force everything back to its default position. So by debugging all of the vertices, I will be able to confirm that it's moving at least. But if they don't move, then it means that something's setting them back. I mean, the fact that it doesn't look like they're moving means that something's doing that anyway, but at least we'll be able to double check that. Interesting. Interesting. So it is changing. Like, these values are different, which means that they should be rotating. Are they just rotating very slowly? Hmm. Let's try 1.5. The letter shake admittedly also makes it very difficult for me to tell. Interesting. So compare these two. They are different. They're rotating, just not the way I would expect. also just out of curiosity, making sure that that doesn't have more labels. Okay, well, what can we do here? Well, this is quite infuriating. Let's see here. Maybe. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to jump over to the in combat scene. I'm going to go ahead and extend the duration of phase 1 by quite a bit. So I'm going to set its duration to be like 80, just stupidly long. And I'm also going to set the phase 1 camera to not rotate. Which I guess I can actually do that at runtime, so I'll do that then. But essentially, I want to, one, make sure that it lasts for a very long time, and two, I want to not have the camera shake happening, because that's kind of making it difficult for me to determine if it is actually rotating or if the pixel displacement that I'm seeing is just a result of it, the camera moving, basically. So let's start by pausing, go to combat system, cameras, virtual cameras, phase 1, we're going to turn this to none, okay, let's go to 1, battle. Okay, so we're getting tons and tons and tons of vertex movement, but notice that nothing is happening here, which is weird because clearly their vertices should be getting... Oh my goodness! Grr, it's always something small! I hate myself so much. Guess what I forgot to do? This is embarrassing. You know that one function that I went on and on about at the very beginning of the stream? I specifically mentioned this function is convenient, and it lets me do stuff very easily. And then I forget to call it. Oh my god. I hate myself sometimes. Okay. See if that worked. My god. Oh, and actually, hold on. I should change that to be here. Otherwise, I'm just going to be updating the mesh arbitrary amounts of times. Yeah, if this does work and it actually rotates, I will slap myself loudly so that you can hear it. Yeah, I am really, really disappointed in myself for that. That's not even the first time I've done that. I have done that exact thing, like, probably half a dozen times at least. Let's go ahead and say hit. Let's get into the battle. And... Ow! Shit, that was way harder than I meant to. Ah! Well, I hope you heard it. Because I was on the other side. Oh! The camera reverted. So yeah, it's rotating. There we go. That's all the text rotation in all of its glory. God. Ah! I'm so angry with myself right now. I'm so angry. You don't have any idea. Okay, times delta time. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and change this again. Go back to here, and we're going to crank that up to 360. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. That is... just... So let's go ahead and let that compile. So I'm going to take a drink. and then I will play. Yeah, I'm really mad. That took an hour and a half for me to solve a problem that by all rights was 5 lines of code because I was just too I was that's a rookie programming mistake, forgetting basic steps to call things. Man. I am quite embarrassed. Mm-hmm. Wee. And then I can type it. That's ooh, that's interesting. Oh, also interesting is the fact that it doesn't seem to reset itself. Okay, well, that works now. Embarrassingly. Okay. You end on the last frame. Right. I think you have to be. I think you need to be 1 frame shy, so 79, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's totally a thing that happened to me. All right, well, let's try that again. Let's actually play through and see what it looks like. Inglorious rotation motion. And then I'm probably going to call it a night so that I can go bang my head against the wall for about an hour straight. Because of all of the embarrassment. But at least we have it working. Jeez. Anger. It flows through me right now. And there we go. That's the rotation. I do kind of find it funny. Notice that the ooh, that was way shorter. Oh, okay, good, cool. Yeah, it's definitely a good time to stop anyway because Unity's timeline has borked itself, so I have to close Unity and reopen it actually, in order for me to do anything now. Because as far as Unity is concerned, timeline is just broken forever now. So cool. Well, we got a fair ways into what I was hoping to do today. Not all the way through, because I did very stupid things. But we do actually have letter behaviors that can affect labels, doing things like rotation, and in the future we are going to do things like shuffle their order so that you have to like unscramble a word to solve it. We'll do things like flip them over 180 degrees so the word is upside down and you have to type it backwards. A lot of fun stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but something that is simple enough to have fun with. I'm sorry that we didn't get to the word scrambling. I really wanted to do that tonight, which is why I was posting about it on the Discord yesterday. But sometimes Chris just has brain farts and spends an hour and a half trying to solve something that should take him 15 minutes. So announcements. I should be fine to stream this Saturday. I might have a friend stopping by. We'll see. And I'll keep everyone updated on that through the Discord and the Twitters and all that. So, as far as next week goes, we should be back at the normal time. So, no real announcements. Just going to keep trucking along. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.